This is another IELTS speaking preparation class. My name is Hamish, and I'll be taking this class with you. The first 2 minutes of this class are reserved for Verbling Premium users, so if you're finding it difficult to get a place, get a spot in the class that you want, think about upgrading your Verbling membership, and then you can make sure you get a slot at the classes that you particularly want to attend. Let me say hello in these first 2 minutes to Andre. Hello, Andre.
Hello, how are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you doing? Welcome to class.
Thank you so much. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Beautiful weather in Tennessee. How's the weather with you?
It's raining.
Oh,
in Brazil, it's raining. Unfortunately.
That never happens. I thought, but there you go. I'm sorry it's raining, but it's not raining inside. I hope we have a good class today. Welcome.
Yes.
Thank you for attending today.
The weather is so good now.
Exactly. It's much better inside. It's always better inside. Andre, thanks for coming in. Let me say hello to Joe. Hello, Joe.
Hello.
How are you today?
Fine. Great. Thanks.
Are you here to practice your English? Are you interested? Do you want to take the IELTS exam, or are you just here to practice your English today?
Well, both things. I'm willing to take IELTS exams.
Mm-hmm.
So
right,
yeah.
and is that because you want to study in study in
I'm
another
looking
country?
forward for education.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
So this is important. I have to get fluent first.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we can use IELTS questions. We can use a class like this to practice for the exam, or just to practice our English questions and answers. So I think you're in the right place. Welcome to class, Joe. Let me
Thank
say
you.
hello also to Raphael. Hello, Raphael.
Hello.
How are you today?
Very well. And you? Here in my city today is 12 o'clock p.m.
Oh, really? So is it lunchtime, or is it bedtime? Lunchtime.
It's too late.
Oh, I see. Yeah, because okay, so it's 12 a.m. because a.m. starts at night, and then it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. So it's the middle of the night, really, with you. So thank you especially. Thank you for coming to class. I'm always asleep at 12 a.m. So Raphael, good to see you. Let me say hello also to Alessandra. Welcome back. Welcome back, Alessandra. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. It's well to see you again.
Yeah. How was your afternoon?
I slept like a baby, actually.
Very good, very good. I'm going to try and do that later on, but of course we have a class right now. But that's good to hear. And welcome back. I must make sure you get a different question in this class, Alessandra. But good to see you in class again. Let me say hello to Mina. Hello, Mina.
Hey, Mr. Hamish, how are you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you? How are you, Mina?
I'm great.
All right. Well, in that case, let's get started. Let me see. Yeah, I've got my list of names. Let's start our practice. The chat is working. I'm very excited. So we're going to. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of sound. Let me check. I think that's coming from you, Joe. Have you got any headphones you can use, Joe? Oh, I just muted you. So when you're your answer, of course. I'm so sorry. But if you have headphones, maybe you can put those on, Joe, because I'm getting a little bit of sound. It's not too bad, but some. The chat is working, so I am going to make sure we have our links up there. Let me see. I put in the British Council one. Let me do that one again, because it is such a good source of advice. Francisco, hi. Good to see you as well. There we go. What else have I got? Let's see. I know we've had some technical problems with the Google Hangouts recently. If you do have a problem, if you get bounced out of the room, if you find that you keep getting sort of bumped out of the Hangout, there's a Google link I want to give you, and it's worth checking that out. to see if that can help, see if that can answer any of your questions. Okay, let me see. I think that will do for now, actually. Oh yes, and also, of course, if you want to upgrade that Verbaling membership and make sure of your place in certain classes, let me just give you the link for that as well. You can click on that and explore your options for a premium membership, and that means you know you're going to get a slot in the classes that you want. But here we all are, so let's get started. We're going to practice again. We're going to practice part 2 questions. I ran a class just like this earlier today. I want to do it twice today. I think it's twice as important. So we're going to do that. I'm going to put the questions in our Verbaling chat box. Who can tell me, how long do you get? A question in part 2, how much time do you get to prepare your answer? Can anyone tell me?
In general or in IELTS?
In IELTS, in part 2 of the IELTS, how long do you get?
1 to 2 minutes to
15.
respond.
Yeah. To respond, absolutely right. You get 1 to 2 minutes to prepare 1 minute, to give your answer 1 to 2 minutes. So when I show these questions, remember you have 1 minute to think about your answer. Of course, you can take notes. They'll give you a piece of paper and a pencil in the exam, and you'll have 1 minute to plan out or write down some keywords, some key details, whatever you want to do. It's up to you to use that time in the best way for you. And that's why it's so good to practice. So good to practice with a realistic amount of time. So if you're practicing with me or outside of class or with a friend, make sure you're using your stopwatch, using your computer to make sure that you know what 1 minute feels like, so that you're used to that kind of time, that amount of time before you actually take the exam. And it's the same with the 2 minutes for your response. Make sure you give yourself just 1 to 2 minutes for that answer. Don't give yourself longer, because that won't be a realistic practice, okay? So I'm going to start with my first question. So I'm going to copy and...
What was the question, sorry?
I'm going to put it in the chat box. Let me see. Just looking for my next my first questionee. Let me see. I'm trying to. There we go. Andre, would you like to be first today?
Yes, definitely.
All right, very good. Okay, here's the question. I'm going to put it in the box. When I put it in the chat box, we'll start our practice. Please, everybody, take that 1 minute to think of your answer, but I'll ask Andre to give me his answer after the 1 minute. There's the question. All right. Andre, I would like for you to speak for 1 to 2 minutes and describe a time in your life when you helped someone else with a problem. You should talk about what was the problem, how did you help the other person, what did you learn from this experience,
Yes.
and would you help this way again in the future? I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. Your 1 minute starts
right
now.
My friend.
I can give you 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll give you 1 minute, and that started now. So you can take that minute to think of your answer.
I have the situation.
Okay. And well, if you want, because you Andre, if you want to start, that's fine. You can start. But it's up to you. I mean you you have another 20 seconds if you wanted, Andre. Are you ready to start, or do you want to take some time to think about it?
No, I'd like to start.
Okay, please go ahead, Andre.
Yes. Last month, my best friend, lost his job, and he was very unhappy, and because he has two children, and he's married too. So he was very disappointed because his boss doesn't like him, because my friend starts showing a pretty good job, and his boss fired him. and he was very disappointed, and he started talking, asking me a lot of advice to help him. And she asked me, "What do I do? Because I'm lost. I have to pay my bills, and my children are unhappy too, because I'm unhappy. So I needed to try to explain that the situation, and he will be very competent professional, and he needed to go ahead, and to have focus to try to find a new job much better than the another one. And after 2 weeks, my friend found a new job, and now he's very happy, and everything is gonna be okay with him.
Okay, thanks, Andre. And there's 2 minutes. So again, that's very much what those 1 to 2 minutes feels like. And for everybody, if we go over those 2 minutes, the examiner will say thanks very much, and they'll move on. So it's very important. I mean, the best answer is often going to finish before we're going to finish speaking before those 2 minutes are up. So the examiner knows. Okay, all right. Well, you're done, and then they can move on to part 3. Andre, tell me, what do you think? What do you think of that question? Is that easy for you or difficult?
It's easy because I think this kind of situation in our lives, our lives is very common.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Every day we need to overcome the obstacles, and to go ahead, and to have focus to continue the life.
Okay, and I think that's very true. I mean, you're absolutely right. We have, and all of these questions, all of these Part 2 IELTS questions, are designed so that anyone taking this exam should be able to find an answer in their head and think, okay, so the difficult part should be I have to do this in English. The difficult part is I have to plan it in 60 seconds. The difficult part shouldn't be what's my answer. That should be quite simple. And I think you found it quite easy to choose your answer. And that's a good thing, because the quicker you have your answer, the more time you can spend planning and thinking of the words you want to use, the structure, all those good things. Now, Andre, I look at the question and it's got, you should talk about what was the problem, how did you help, and also what did you learn, and would you help this way again? So there are 2 points.
Yes.
2 of those points, and I didn't hear anything about those 2. So if you get the chance if you want to practice this one again outside of class or with another teacher, I'd absolutely recommend trying to cover each of those 4 points.
Okay.
Because they'll be listening for those. They want those things to be helpful for you. They want to be able to say, okay, well, here's a good structure for your answer. But they're also listening to make sure, oh, okay, is he talking about that? Okay, tick. Is he talking about that? Tick. And of course, if you don't give information about one of those points, there's something missing. So we want to give as a full an answer as possible. I know. I mean, you spoke for the full 2 minutes, and you gave some good details. And I thought the story itself and what happened, that was very clear. But I would ask you, when you practice again, to try and cover all those points they give you, because that's an important thing for you to do. But Andre, I've got to say thank you very much for being number 1 in this class. That can be very difficult.
I'm approved.
Of course. I think everyone's improving all the time, Andre.
Yes.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, absolutely. So thanks for being number 1. Let me move on now. Joe, are you happy to be number 2 with us today? Is that okay if you're the next practice, Joe? Oh, I can't hear you. You can unmute your microphone, and then I should be able to hear you. it's a different button. Now, what does it look like when you're a student? Let's see. There's another button that you can hit to unmute yourself. Otherwise we can't hear you, Joe. It's not that one. I'm going to let you take a look at that, okay? I'm going to, and then we'll come back to you next time and see if you can find it. In the meantime, let me move on. Raphael, are you happy to practice with us now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so for everybody again, I'm going to put that question in the chat box. Let's all take a minute to take a look at it. But I'll ask Raphael to give me his answer after 1 minute. Let me find the question.
20 years ago.
Oh, hang on. No, I'm going to give you a new question, Raphael, because it's a new question every time. Okay.
It's new question.
Yeah, because it's too easy otherwise. Too easy for you. Okay, here's a new question for you, and for everybody to look at as well. All right, I've put it in the box. Raphael, I want you to talk for 1 to 2 minutes and describe a time in your life that was difficult. Please include what was the problem and the other points in the chat box. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. That 1 minute starts now.
For example, when one day when I was in the middle of my house, of my city, sorry, in the center of my city, I was with a very good friend, and my friend drank a lot, and I need to carry him to his house, I think that that is not a nice situation, and I hope that don't need in the future to do the same. And I think that when you are when you have a lot of problems, the solution of this problem is not drink a lot. My friend takes this solution in this day. What advice would you give? I think that the best advice that I can tell is you can live without alcohol.
Okay. Thanks, Raphael. So there's your answer, and that, I mean, for information, that's about 1.5 minutes for your answer. What do you think of a question like that, Raphael? Is that easy or difficult for you?
It's not difficult, but I need more time for I think how I need to explain.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and you'll get 1 minute to prepare your answer. So you can take that 1 minute, and then when that 1 minute is over, they'll ask you to begin your answer, because you're right. There are four things, as well as the describe a time. There are 4 things to include in that answer, such as, well, of course, what was the problem? What were some of the things that helped you? What helped you make this better? Let me scroll up so I can see it. What did you learn from the experience? And that last one, and a very important one, what advice would you give to other people in that situation? You chose an experience where you were helping a friend who was drunk and helping him get home. Raphael, if you had that question again, would you choose the same answer, or would you choose something different?
If I choose the same answer or the different.
Yeah. If you practice this question again, would you talk about helping your drunk friend, or would you talk about something else?
I think that it's possible that I choose other topics, other idea.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the story that you give, the story that you tell about helping a friend,
it's true.
I think it's a good story. I'm not sure I think there are better answers, better things you could choose with this. I've got to mute you, Joe. Sorry, just because of the background noise. I think that there are other choices, other things we could talk about. Because when we look at that, when we look at the task, it says, what were some of the things that helped you overcome this problem? What did you learn from this experience? It sounds like when they talk about a difficult time in your life, this sounds like a longer period than just a night. So when we take the time to look at all that information in the task, I'm thinking to myself, okay, maybe this needs to be, you know, a few weeks or months. You know, if I lose someone that I care about, or if I lose my job, I mean, also we can all think of times that have been difficult, but I think it's longer than just an evening. If we pick something that's quite short, it's hard to think of answers for something.
Explain other situation that is the situation is longer in the time, not this short time.
I think so. Just in terms of what they're talking about, a time in your life. That sounds like something that's longer than one night. If they said describe an event in your life, well, that could easily be exactly what you were talking about, just that one thing. But a time in your life, the information they're looking for, it sounds like they want something more. But that's just my thoughts on that kind of question. In terms of what you told me, it was clear for me to understand that. But yes, we definitely want to cover all those points. Raphael, thank you for taking that number 2 spot and taking that practice with us today. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, let me go back to Joe. How are your? Let's see. Can we hear you now, Joe?
Hello, you can hear me now?
All right, I can hear you. Good times. Okay, great stuff. Are you happy to be number 3 for us?
Yeah, sure.
All right, excellent. What I'd really like to do is share my screen, but I don't think that is working for us today. So I'm going to try and share the screen. If that doesn't work, I'll put it in the chat box. So, yes, I'm not getting to do that. So again, I have to put it in the box. Apologies for the small size of the writing. So here comes number 3. Again, this is for Joe, but please, everybody, take the time to practice. Joe, I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare. Please take that minute and then plan out your answer. Let me put this one in here. Okay. There we go. So that's in the Verbling chat now. Joe, I would like for you to take 1 to 2 minutes to describe a person you would most like to meet. Please take a look at the other points in that question and include those in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. Your 1 minute starts now.
Okay. I think I'm ready.
All right. Okay. Please start speaking now.
Well, there is a politician here in my country, who is well known because he has a way to talk and convince people. He's really good at. So he also encourage people. You know, he's a motivational speaker. It's okay. So I think it will be nice to meet him because I like all the politicians' life. I would like to get involved. So yeah.
So and Joe,
What
if you met this guy, if you met him, what would you say to him?
Well, first of all, hi. Then I will try to learn as much as I can from him. You know, because the way he talks to people and convince people, he have been president twice here in Peru. So I kinda admire him.
Okay, that's an interesting answer, Joe. When you saw the question, how long did you spend deciding? Did you quickly decide to choose the politician, or were you thinking about other people?
Yeah. Well, at the first time I was thinking many people actually, but I choose this guy because I saw him. I watched him the news yesterday.
Okay, right. So he was fresh in your mind.
Yeah.
You give some good details, and I know you know, when you're describing him, you talk about you say that he knows how to speak to people, how to persuade them, and you were explaining that, and well, I understood. Otherwise, I couldn't talk about that now.
Yeah.
So I could hear you clearly. I wanted to give you some words, some adjectives to describe. If we want to say someone is very good at talking, is persuasive, and can convince people, we could call him charismatic, especially a politician or someone, you know, famous, like a celebrity. Charismatic. And also if someone is very famous, and again, as an actor or a politician, a musician, we can talk of them as being iconic, an iconic figure, and that's someone who almost becomes more famous than themselves. I'm sorry?
All of those words are adjectives, right?
Yeah. So he is. We can describe him as charismatic, and we can describe him as iconic. Absolutely. We can also call him an icon, so we can use that as a noun as well. So we can use words like that. But even though you didn't give me those words, what I was very happy with you, Joe, was when you found a way. You found a way to explain it, and you know, you were talking about, okay, well, he has a way to talk and convince people. So you got your meaning across. And in the IELTS exam or any English speaking exam, so important for us to be able to, if we don't know the words, don't have the vocabulary, to find a way to explain or to describe or convince. So that's a really good thing. In a perfect exam, yeah, we know all the words and we say them, but I don't know anyone who knows every single word in the English language. So when we don't know, it's so important to be able to find another way to explain something. And for some people, it's easy, they're natural. For other people, they have to practice. And practices like this are a very good way to help develop our ability to explain things, to describe things, and to tell a story as well, of course. Yeah, I thought. I thought it was an interesting answer. There are a couple of key points that you need to include if you want to practice this again out of class. Take a good look at that at the task, because they ask you, what effect would that meeting have on you? What would you say? And I asked that question at the end. What would you tell him? What would you say to him? Because the examiner is absolutely listening to make sure that you cover all those main points. Yeah.
To make sense of all the questions, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and
Okay.
it's important. You know, I don't think anyone here yet in this class has taken their full 60 seconds, and there's 60 seconds for a reason, and the reason is this is a challenging exercise, and they ask you for, well, to speak for 2 minutes with a lot of information. So we need to take that minute. I think it's a good idea to take the full minute and really read carefully the question and think carefully about our answer, number one, but also details, examples, vocabulary, the way we want to describe things, and that's going to, that in an IELTS exam, that's really going to help our score. The better we prepare, the better our answer is likely to be. So, and hey, thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe, for being number 3 as well. That was
Yeah,
I
thanks to
enjoyed
you.
listening to your answer. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, let me see where we are here. No, you're very welcome. Mina, are you with us? Would you like to practice?
Sure.
All right, you're going to be number 4.
I'm
Excellent.
I'm
Mhm.
I'm all set.
Okay, very good. Very American expression. I love that. Very nice. Let me find a good question for you, Mina. Let me see. This one sounded a little familiar. I want to find something a little different. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay, this is question number 5 on my list. I've skipped one. I'm going to put this in the chat box. 1 minute to prepare, 2 minutes to give your answer. Please, everybody, take that 1 minute. Think about your vocabulary, your descriptions. But after that 1 minute, I'll ask Mina to give me his answer. So here we go. I put it in the box. Yeah. Mina, I would like for you to spend 1 to 2 minutes to describe a teacher who has influenced you. Please take a look at all of that task and include those points in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. Your 1 minute begins now. Okay, Mina, please begin your answer now.
I believe he is my Arabic teacher. I met him first when I was in secondary school. I think he inspires me a lot. Um, he used to teach us Arabic and religion. Um, this man, I believe, this man is so special because in my secondary school, everything was like a mess. All the teachers was just trying to take advantage of students. They used to not explain or they have no conscience. They used to just take care of students who would take private lesson with them and ignore the rest of the class. But this teacher was so honest. Yeah, he had a conscience. He used to, like he felt God in front of him. So he was strict also, but he was so good man. He didn't force anybody to learn. Just he was anyone who has the ability to learn. He would be very good with them. He's so talented and skillful teacher. So I think he inspires me a lot. He's like a role model, you know. I wish I can meet him, and you know, I would kiss his hands because he made a big huge role in my life.
All right, thank you. That was a very interesting answer. I mean, thank you so much. That was the full 2 minutes. So that was all the time you would have in that exam to give your answer. Tell me, I have to ask me now. When you saw that question, was it easy for you to choose that teacher to talk about?
Yeah, yeah. It wasn't so, you know, I didn't expect this kind of questions, you know, about teacher because
Oh, okay.
yeah, our education system is really a mess. So I rather, you know, ignore and forget everything about my education. You know?
I understand.
So,
I understand.
so not a good memory, but I try to pick someone from this mud, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I mean, you know, some questions we're going to find easier than others. Of course, you know, whatever question we get, we have to answer it. And so I think you did a really good job at you know, choosing the person you were going to speak about and giving a very interesting description of this guy. And really, and in terms of these points, well, I mean, the background circumstances you gave, it was tremendously clear. The subjects he taught, you were in high school, secondary school, I beg your pardon. In terms of you gave a description not just of him as a teacher, but also as a person, and that was really a very interesting answer to listen to, and it felt very sincere and very heartfelt, and these are good things as well. You know, the grammar was pretty good. I think there are improvements you can make with that. The word you used, I think you were definitely looking for the word conscience. I was, as someone who has a conscience, so you know, they care about others, they want to do good things, as opposed to bad things. And I was hearing that word as conscious. So we need to hear that n sound at the end for conscience, so it's absolutely clear. But of course, I knew that I got the meaning of what you were talking about. You talked about being strict as well, and you talked. I was very nice at the end where you described what you might do if you met that teacher again. I thought that was really solid. It seemed clear. I mean, we look at the points. Let me scroll back up. The points that we need to include in this one. Oh yes, why they were special. Yes, you covered that absolutely. Also, how they influenced you. I think we can infer from what you said how this teacher influenced you. You know, we get the message because you described him so well. However, in a question like this, we should be explicit. So if one of the points is how they influenced you, let's include in this answer. You know, he was such an influence on me. For example, you know, I try to treat people well. I try to you know, have a good conscience about things. So we need to be, you know, really pretty clear when we're giving these answers which part we're talking about. But it was a really nice, a really excellent, well described story, and I understood it very well. And like I say, if the examiner, it doesn't have to work very hard to understand the answer, and it's a direct answer, this is going to be good news for your score in an exam like this, whether it's the TOEFL or TOEIC or right here, the IELTS exam. If the examiner doesn't have to work too hard to understand you, then you're probably doing pretty well, yeah. But if the examiner is struggling, isn't quite sure of the vocabulary, or if the pronunciation is difficult, then we're going to get into trouble. So, Mina, I want to say thanks so much for that answer. I think it was really helpful for your practice, but also for everyone else to hear the kind of description you were giving. So, yeah, thank you very much
to
for
you,
that.
teacher.
All right, no problem at all. I was very happy to give you that practice. That was really good. Let me go back to my list now. Let's see. Mariana, hello. I didn't say hello to you yet. Hello, Mariana.
Hello there.
How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks. And you?
I'm pretty good. Are you happy to practice with us today?
Yes, I do not have to take the exam.
Okay, okay.
I'm practice.
Hmm. And that's okay. And we can practice with these questions just to improve our English. It doesn't have to
Okay.
be for the exam. So let me find a good question for you, Mariam, please. Let me see. Mhm. Okay, I'm going to put this again in the chat box. Let me see. So when I do that, this one is for Mariana. But please, everybody, take a look. Think about how you would describe it, how you would answer it. But I'll give Mariana the 1 minute to prepare, and then the 2 minutes to give me her answer. So there it is. Mariana, I would like for you to spend 1 to 2 minutes describing an enjoyable event you experienced when you were at school. Please take a look at all of that question and include answers to those points in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. Your 1 minute starts now.
Okay. Okay. I try.
Okay, and that's about 30 seconds preparation time. Okay, please begin your answer now, Mariana.
Okay. An event I remember of last year during a master in human resources and organization, in which I and my colleagues take part in a project for to create a business plan of a little company. And I remember this event because I feel part in a group in which I I could improve my leadership and I remember was very important for me because I gave my contribute with my psychologist experience. In particular, I attended in a business plan for the cost of personnel in a company. And I think about this experience with enjoy and stuff.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. And you still had a few seconds. So, in an exam like this, it's important. And it was clear to me that you were finished. But I say this to everybody: if you do finish and it's a little bit early, make sure you let the examiner know, and that could be saying that's my answer, or I'm finished, or even just giving a smile or wave with your hand to show that that's everything. Because for those 2 minutes, the examiner, I mean, they're not going to be saying, oh yes, really, how interesting. They're just going to let you speak. And so if you still have time in those 2 minutes, they don't want to interrupt. They want to give you a chance to finish. So if they're not sure whether you're finished, they're going to just sit there and wait. So if you're done and there's still a few seconds left, absolutely let them know that you're finished. Mariana, that was an interesting answer. What do you think of that question? Is it easy for you to talk about education? Was that an easy subject for you to answer?
I'm I understand what you say, but I have a I have difficult to explain my things
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't do any practice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've never been abroad, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
Italian, and with these lessons,
Uh-huh.
I would like to improve my English.
Sure thing. And Verbling is a great place, by the way, to do that. And you can meet teachers and other students from all over the world, of course. It's clear to me that you're right. You were having to work hard to explain things and to describe things, and you had to work hard to tell the story. Um, Truth is, with more practice, you're going to improve at this. You're going to become more fluent. There'll be less hesitation, because one of two things: either you know the words because you learn more, you read, you listen, you speak, you write, and you get that vocabulary. But that's one thing. But the second thing is you just get better at finding a way to describe something in English. So even if you don't know the word, you'll find a way. And you did some of that in your answer. So I think you probably are able already to do that. But with practice, and especially with this kind of practice, being strict with your time, finding a variety of questions to answer, you're going to improve absolutely with that. Let me just check. Yeah, and by the way, it was clear to me you were looking at the question, keeping an eye on that during your answer, and that's a really good idea, because in an exam like this, they will give you that question, give it to you on a piece of card, and when during your 2 minutes, you'll still have the card. They don't take it back. You're going to have that card, so you can keep occasionally looking at that and thinking, okay, what do I need to talk about next? Oh yeah, okay, right. So when it happened, what was good about it? So you can use that card to give your answer a structure, and that examiner is, and I mean this for everybody here, the examiner is listening to make sure your answer is coherent, that it makes sense, that it's easy to understand, that they know where you're going. So I think it was really good, Mariana, that you looked a few times at that question to keep yourself on track, to keep yourself going the right way. I think that was really good, and it was an interesting answer as well. So thank you for being number 5 with us today. I appreciate you. I appreciate you agreeing to practice with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
All right, no, you're very welcome. Let me go to Slim. Hello, Slim.
Hello, teacher.
Are you happy to practice with us today?
I hope so.
All right, I hope so too. I hope so too. Let me find a question for you, Slim. Okay, this is a good one. I'm going to put this one in the box, and this one isn't. It's not about school this time. So we're gonna ask you about something different. Let me see. Here we go. I'll put this in the chat box, and again, 1 minute to prepare, and after that 1 minute, I'll ask Slim to give me his answer, and he'll have 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes, to give me his answer. So let's start this practice right now. Okay, Slim, please, I would like for you to take 1 to 2 minutes to describe someone in your family who you like. Please take a look at the other points in that question. Please include those in your answer. I'm going to give you 1 minute to prepare your answer. That 1 minute starts now. Okay, Slim, please give me your answer now.
Okay. I think the most person that I love and is my mother, because my mother is the person that give me the life in this world. Uh, Also, my mother is he teached me many things before the school and before other. Uh, he's very beautiful and so candy and uh, nice, very nice with me. Also, my mother encouraged me in many trips and uh, school during my life. I think if I lose it, I don't have an idea how to live now. This is so difficult to speak about his mother after because actually I don't speak so much about her. It's my first time that I speak it.
Okay. Thank you, Slim. Thank you,
So
Slim. Oh, sound
I
like
don't finish.
yeah. No, go on.
Okay, thank you.
It sounded like you were finished there, Slim. So I stopped it. And you're right. It can be difficult to talk about these things. Was it easy for you to decide? Okay, I'm going to talk about my mother. Were you quick when you were choosing the person in your family to talk about?
Yes, I think it's the first idea in 5 seconds after very.
And of course that's so helpful. It's so helpful if we can make a quick choice because that part of our preparation, you know, the more practice we have, the quicker we're going to be at doing that, and that gives us so much more time in the 60 seconds to look carefully at the rest of the task and think, okay, so how do I answer this, and this? What key words do I want to write down to remind myself? Because it's so hard. If we don't take a note, it's I think, well, for me it would be impossible to speak for 2 minutes to answer a brand new question like that if I didn't write down just, you know, a few words to help myself remember where am I going with this. I'd like some of the details you gave, Slim. I think they were helpful. I thought it felt like a very honest, believable answer. It's good. It will be really. It'll be a really good thing for you to practice and improve your simple past, the use of the past tense, because I know that there are still some verbs. If we think about, you know, instead of she taught me, things like that. I think you were working really hard. Sometimes to use the simple past, but we have some irregular verbs with those endings like teach to know. We're going to use taught for that. So the more comfortable you are using the simple past tense, of course, the much easier and the better you're going to speak when you're talking about things from the past. And in an exam like this, or in many conversations with English people, especially with British English people, you're going to need to talk about the past. Not so much with Americans. They like to talk about the future much more. But of course, to use the simple past and to be confident using the simple past tenses and those endings, those verb endings, that is going to make such a difference to your speaking skills. You know, so that's going to be a really good thing for you to do is to practice simple past and to improve with that. I like, by the way, I mean, I like the answer, but I also like to use the you used also, and also is a great signpost for us when we're giving answers like this, because if you say also, those English ears pick up and they think, oh, okay, here's another example, or here's another reason. And there are lots of little signposts like that we can use to make it easier for the examiner to know where we're going, to know which direction we're going. Are we giving an example? Are we giving a reason? Are we talking about something that's different, that's the opposite, perhaps, if we're saying on the other hand, or for example, or are we coming to the end of our answer? And so we could say, well, finally, or to sum up, or and that's all I have to say. That, again, a clear signal that we're finished. So also a very simple English word, but very effective, and you used it in just the right point, Slim. So thank you so much for being number 6 with us today. I really enjoyed listening to your answer.
I'm glad too. Teacher, I want to ask you something, please. Have I done my time? 2 minutes?
Yeah, that was no, it wasn't full 2 minutes. So you still had about 30 seconds. But I must admit, I thought you were done because you were talking about it being a difficult question. And normally when someone says that, I think they're done.
No, because if there is an examiner or someone see me now, I am shying a little. I'm not that very good speaking in public because I have some problem. I know. I'm shy.
And of course, and if you think about the students, I mean, Slim, that's really fair. That's a fair point, and it's a very common problem for students to have, because first of all, we can pretend this is a conversation with a friend in the exam, and sometimes that's a nice way to think about it when we're answering these questions, because they're personal. You know, I don't want to tell a complete stranger about the relationship with my mother. That feels very strange. That's not something we would do in normal life. But an exam like the IELTS exam or the TOEFL exam or the TOEIC or the certificate, it's not like real life. It's a very artificial situation, and we're put in a room and someone is testing our ability to communicate, and in this case our ability to communicate in English. So if we find it difficult, and a lot of people do, we need to practice that. We need to practice and improve our ability to feel comfortable talking about family and the past and difficult things that have happened to us, because those questions, they come up a lot in an exam like this. And of course, if we're uncomfortable, if we're nervous, you see it and you hear it. You hear it right here. And that makes it more difficult to understand what someone is saying. If someone is nervous and they're talking, maybe it gets very quiet, maybe they hesitate a lot, or they stumble, or they repeat themselves. Anyone would do that if they were nervous. So the more comfortable we are, better practice, and also finding a way to, and I mean, this is for everyone here, not just Slim, of course, if we can find a way to relax before the exam and to, of course, to warm up before the exam. If you go to an IELTS exam, this mustn't be the first English you speak in the day. Either you call a friend, either you take a class on verbaling, or speak to yourself in the shower. I don't mind what you do, but make sure that you're speaking some English before you go into that room, because you want to be warmed up and confident and relaxed, and that way you're going to give your best performance in the exam, and that way you're going to make sure you get a higher score as well, because I know you're all capable of getting a good score in an exam like this. But if we're prepared and if we're relaxed, that, of course, that's going to help. That's going to help our score, and it's going to help our English conversation as well. I've talked myself out of time. Apologies for that. Thanks for everyone who practiced today. We're going to do more classes like this and more TOEFL speaking classes as well. So thanks to everyone who asked a question. Thanks to everyone who answered a question. I really enjoyed all of your answers this evening. Some really interesting language and vocabulary, and of course some really great stories as well. So please follow me on Facebook and catch me again on verbaling, and we'll continue to practice and we'll continue to help improve your spoken English, okay?
Yes, definitely.
All right, for now, thank you so much, and I hope to see you all again very soon, okay?
Yes, bye-bye.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.
Thanks a lot.
Take care.
Bye.